For thousands of years, 3 sacred texts have shaped the beliefs of billions. But hidden within their pages is another story, a story rarely told. A story of angels made of light, beings born of fire, giants, spirits, monsters, and forces that move in the shadows of creation. In this video, we journey into the supernatural realms described in the Torah, the Christian Bible, and the Qur'an, not to preach, not to interpret, but to explore the ancient beings these texts describe, the guardians, the rebels, the destroyers, and the creatures of the end times. This is a look into the unseen world shared across 3 traditions, a world older than humanity, darker than myth, and far more mysterious than most realize. Welcome to the unseen realms. The Torah is the foundational text of the Hebrew Bible, preserves some of the oldest supernatural lore in the entire Abrahamic tradition. These beings aren't the soft, sanitized figures of modern art. They are powerful, terrifying, and deeply mysterious. Today, we step into that world. We begin with the Malachim, the angels. In the Torah, angels are not winged children or gentle guardians. They are messengers of divine will, appearing suddenly, often without warning, and always with purpose. They walk and talk like men, yet they carry an authority that shakes the human soul to its core. When they arrive, they don't ask. They command. But above them stand the cherubim, and these are nothing like Renaissance paintings. In the Hebrew Bible, cherubim are multi-winged, multi-faced guardians of sacred space. They stand at the gates of Eden wielding flaming swords. They support the very throne of the divine. They are hybrid beings, part animal, part human, part something else entirely, symbols of cosmic power and unapproachable holiness. Even higher still are the seraphim, the fiery ones. Their name itself suggests burning radiance and an overwhelming presence. These beings are described as blazing with light, their wings covering their faces and feet as they cry out in a celestial chorus. They are not gentle. They are awe-inspiring, terrifying, and ancient. And then there is the most mysterious figure of all, the angel of the Lord. Unlike other angels, this being speaks as God, acts as God, and yet appears in angelic form. When he arrives, reality bends. Mortals fall to their knees. The boundary between the divine and the created blurs. Scholars have debated his identity for centuries, but the text leaves him shrouded in mystery. Yet the Torah doesn't only speak of beings of light. It also reveals entities far darker, more ambiguous, and more unsettling. One of the earliest is Ha-Satan, the adversary. Not yet the horned devil of later tradition, Ha-Satan is an accuser, a tester, a challenger. He appears in the divine court, questioning human motives, pushing boundaries, and exposing weakness. He's not a rebel. He's a prosecutor, a being whose role is to test the integrity of humanity. But beyond him lie evil spirits, forces of chaos and torment. These spirits are sent as judgments, as consequences, as catalysts for change. They unsettle kings, drive men to madness, and disrupt the natural order. They aren't demons in the later sense, but they are dangerous, unpredictable, and feared. Then there are the familiar spirits, known as the Ob. These are the spirits contacted through forbidden necromancy voices of the dead, or perhaps something pretending to be the dead. The Torah warns against them, not because they are imaginary, but because they are real and dangerous. Those who sought them out risked opening doors that were never meant to be opened. Among the most haunting beings in the Hebrew Bible are the Rephaim, the shades of the dead. Sometimes they are described as spirits in the underworld. Other times they are linked to ancient giants, remnants of a forgotten age. They linger in the shadows of history, half remembered and half feared. And then there are the Nephilim, perhaps the most mysterious beings in the entire text. Described as the offspring of the sons of God and human women. They are giants, warriors, mighty men of old. Their existence marks a time when the boundary between the divine and the human was crossed, and the world was never the same. Their presence is brief, but their legacy echoes through countless myths and legends. In later Jewish tradition, another figure emerges from the darkness, Lilith. Though not explicitly named in the Torah, she becomes a symbol of the night, a wandering spirit, a seductress, a bringer of fear. Her origins are debated, but her presence in folklore is undeniable. She represents the wild, untamed forces that lurk beyond the edges of civilization. But the supernatural world of the Torah extends even further into the realm of cosmic monsters and primordial beings. In later Jewish writings, especially the Book of Enoch, we encounter the Watcher's angels who descended to earth, broke their boundaries, and corrupted humanity. They taught forbidden knowledge, fathered giants, and brought chaos to the world. Their fall became a warning. Even celestial beings can be tempted. Then there is Leviathan, the sea monster, a creature of chaos, coiled beneath the waters, waiting. Described as a twisting serpent, a multi-headed beast, Leviathan represents the untamed forces of the deep, the ancient fear of the unknown ocean, the terror of what lies beneath. Its counterpart is Behemoth, the colossal land creature, immovable, unstoppable, a symbol of raw, primal power. Together, Leviathan and Behemoth embody the boundaries of creation, the sea and the land, the chaos and the order. And finally, we meet Azazel, a name whispered in the wilderness. Associated with the scapegoat ritual, Azazel is a being tied to desolation, exile, and the sins cast away from the community. Some see him as a demon, others as a fallen angel, and still others as a symbol of the wilderness itself. But whatever he is, his presence is ominous. These beings, angels, giants, spirits, monsters, form the supernatural landscape of the Torah. They are not metaphors. They are not modern reinterpretations. They are the ancient forces that shaped the worldview of early Israel, the beings that moved through the shadows of history, the entities that blurred the line between heaven, earth, and the unknown. In the world of the Christian Bible, the boundary between the natural and the supernatural is thin, sometimes barely there at all. Here, angels walk beside men. Demons speak through human voices. And in the final pages, the heavens themselves tear open to reveal creatures so strange, so terrifying, that they defy imagination. Today, we explore the supernatural beings of the Christian Bible, a realm where ancient Hebrew lore meets new layers of demonology, cosmic warfare, and apocalyptic prophecy. We begin with the beings of light. The Bible speaks often of angels, messengers, warriors, protectors. But these are not gentle figures with soft wings. They appear suddenly, radiantly, often with a message that changes the course of history. They strike armies blind. They shut the mouths of lions. They stand guard with swords of fire. When angels appear, fear is the first reaction. Awe is the second. Among them are the archangels, the highest-ranking celestial beings. Michael, the warrior, Gabriel, the herald. Others appear in later Christian tradition, but these two stand at the center of the biblical narrative, one delivering divine messages, the other leading celestial armies. The Bible also expands on the ancient Hebrew descriptions of seraphim and cherubim. The seraphim, the burning ones, blaze with holy fire, their voices shaking the foundations of heaven. The cherubim, guardians of sacred space, are hybrid beings of overwhelming presence, depicted with multiple wings, multiple faces, and eyes that see in every direction. Together, these beings form the heavenly host, the armies of heaven. Not metaphorical armies. Actual armies. Legions of celestial warriors who stand ready for divine command, appearing in visions as countless shining ranks stretching across the sky. But the Christian Bible does not only speak of beings of light. It also reveals a darker realm, one filled with rebellion, corruption, and spiritual warfare. At the center of this realm stands Satan, now a far more defined figure than in the Hebrew Bible. No longer merely the adversary, he becomes the tempter, the deceiver, the accuser of humanity. He challenges Jesus in the wilderness. He enters Judas before the betrayal. He is described as a roaring lion, a serpent, a dragon, a being whose influence spreads across the world. But Satan does not act alone. The New Testament introduces demons, unclean spirits that possess, torment, and deceive. They speak through human mouths. They recognize Jesus instantly. They beg not to be cast out. They fear judgment. One of the most chilling encounters is with Legion, a collective of many demons speaking as one. When asked for its name, the reply is simple and terrifying. We are many. The Bible also references fallen angels, beings who abandoned their place in heaven and were cast into darkness. The books of Jude and 2 Peter describe them as imprisoned, awaiting judgment, a reminder that even celestial beings can fall. Among the darkest figures is Apollyon, also called Abaddon, the Destroyer. He is the king of the abyss, a powerful entity who commands forces unleashed during the end times. His name alone carries a sense of dread. But nowhere does the Christian Bible's supernatural world reach greater intensity than in the book of Revelation, a text filled with visions of cosmic upheaval and otherworldly beings. Here we encounter the beast from the sea, a monstrous entity rising from the waters, covered in symbolic imagery, horns, heads, crowns, representing power, blasphemy, and domination. It is not a creature of flesh, but of prophecy, a symbol of oppressive, world-shaking force. Then comes the beast from the earth, a second apocalyptic figure. This being performs signs, deceives nations, and compels allegiance to the first beast. Together, they form a dark trinity of power, deception, and destruction. Above them looms the dragon, a symbolic representation of Satan himself. Red, massive, crowned, and furious, the dragon wages war against heaven and earth. He is cast down by Michael and the heavenly host, but his wrath continues, fueling the chaos of the end times. Revelation also describes the 4 living creatures, hybrid celestial beings surrounding the throne of God, covered in eyes, with faces of a lion, an ox, a man, and an eagle. They represent creation itself, watching, worshiping, and announcing divine judgment. Then come the locusts from the abyss, some of the most disturbing beings in biblical literature. Grotesque, hybrid creatures with human faces, scorpion tails, and iron-like armor. They swarm across the earth, tormenting those unprotected. Their appearance is symbolic, but their impact is terrifying. Another figure emerges, the Whore of Babylon, a symbolic supernatural entity representing corruption, decadence, and spiritual decay. She rides the beast, clothed in luxury, drunk on the blood of the innocent. Her fall marks the collapse of a world built on deception. Finally, we meet the false prophet, a deceptive supernatural figure who performs signs, misleads nations, and compels worship of the beast. He is the ultimate deceiver, a master of illusion and manipulation. Together, these beings form the supernatural landscape of the Christian Bible, a world of angels and demons, light and darkness, cosmic battles and apocalyptic visions. They are not metaphors. They are not modern reinterpretations. They are the beings that shape the Christian understanding of the unseen world, forces of good and evil locked in a struggle that spans heaven, earth, and the end of time. The Qur'an. Ever wondered what lies beyond our physical world, according to one of the world's major faiths? The Qur'an, the central religious text of Islam, describes a universe teeming with unseen beings, each with its own purpose and nature. It's a fascinating look into a world that exists parallel to our own. So let's explore the supernatural beings of the Qur'an. First, and perhaps most well known, are the angels, or malaika. Unlike the chubby cherubs of Western art, angels in Islam are powerful beings created from light. They have no free will in the human sense. Their entire existence is dedicated to obeying God's commands. They are God's messengers, guardians, and record keepers. The most famous among them is Jibril, or Gabriel, who delivered the divine revelations of the Qur'an to the Prophet Muhammad. Another is Mikhail, or Michael, who is in charge of nature, directing the winds and the rain. Then there's Israel, the angel of death, who is tasked with taking souls at their appointed time. And finally, Israfil, who will blow the trumpet to signal the day of judgment. These angels are constantly at work, unseen but ever present, carrying out the divine decree in every corner of the universe. They record our deeds, protect us, and play a crucial role in the cosmic order. Next, we have the jinn. This is where things get really interesting. The jinn are a race of beings created from a smokeless fire. Unlike angels, they possess free will, just like humans. This means they can choose to be good or evil, to believe or to disbelieve. They live in a world parallel to ours, with their own societies, families, and ways of life. They can be Muslim, Christian, Jewish, or follow other beliefs. The Qur'an tells us they can see us, but we cannot see them in their true form. Because they have free will, they can also be mischievous or even malicious. The most infamous of all the jinn is Iblis, also known as Shaitan or Satan. He was once a devout worshipper, but his pride led him to disobey God's command to bow down to Adam. He was cast out and vowed to mislead humanity until the day of judgment. So, while some jinn are peaceful, others, known as shayatin or devils, follow Iblis and work to tempt humans into sin and disbelief. The concept of jinn explains many of the supernatural phenomena that people experience, from whispers and strange feelings to more significant paranormal events. So we have angels made of light and jinn made of smokeless fire. But what about humans? We are created from clay or earth. The Qur'an places these three beings, angels, jinn, and humans, in a distinct hierarchy of creation, each with a unique substance and purpose. Humans are considered the vicegerents, or stewards, of the earth. We were given intellect, reason, and free will, a test to see if we will choose the path of righteousness. This cosmic drama, with angels as obedient servants, jinn as free-willed parallels, and humans as the tested stewards of earth, forms the very foundation of the Islamic worldview. Beyond these main three, the Qur'an hints at other creations. It speaks of the beast of the earth, or Dabbit al-Ard, a creature that will emerge near the end of times as one of the major signs of the last day. Its purpose will be to speak to people and mark the believers from the non-believers. The exact nature of this beast is a mystery, left to interpretation, adding another layer of intrigue to Islamic eschatology. Then there are Gog and Magog, or Yajuj and Majuj. These are described as a destructive horde of people or beings who are currently trapped behind a great barrier built by a righteous king named Dhul-Qarnayn. The Qur'an prophesies that near the end of time, they will be released and will spread across the land, causing great corruption and chaos. Their eventual defeat will be another major sign preceding the day of judgment. The story of Gog and Magog serves as a powerful symbol of chaos and the eventual triumph of divine order. It's also worth mentioning the Houris, who are described in the Qur'an as beautiful companions for the righteous believers in paradise. Descriptions of them are symbolic of the purity, beauty, and eternal bliss that await those who lead a good life. They represent a state of ultimate reward and happiness in the afterlife, a concept that provides hope and motivation for believers. So, the universe described in the Qur'an is far from empty. It's a dynamic, living cosmos filled with angels carrying out divine orders, jinn living their parallel lives, and humans facing their great test. And on the horizon, we have the prophesied emergence of beings like the beast of the earth and Gog and Magog, all part of a grand, unfolding divine plan. Understanding these beings provides a deeper insight into the Islamic faith, its moral framework, and its vision of the unseen world. It reminds us that there may be more to reality than what meets the eye. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the supernatural realm of the Qur'an. If you found this interesting, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more explorations into the mysteries of our world. See you in the next one.